Good evening and welcome to the real world. The carbon omer in this week's parsha is brought Pesach, the second day of Pesach, out of barley. The pasuk goes on to say that just 7 weeks later on Shavuos you bring the carbon, you bring the shtei lechem out of wheat. And the Maral points out, really Chazal really referenced this already, that we start out with barley, which is meichel behema, it's animal food. Animals eat barley, and at the end of 7 weeks there's a process that leads us to wheat, which is human food. Because that represents what's really going on during these weeks. The 7 weeks leading up to Har Sinai, we went from being almost subhuman before Yetzias Mitzrayim. We were avadim in Mitzrayim with very little to define us as people. We were definitely not princely, but the Ben Shalom saw something in us, and he was patient, and he worked with us. And 7 weeks later, then it was 40 days later, we stood by Har Sinai, and we were makabel the Torah as people. And that's really what's happening to us during these weeks of Sphira. We're fixing, and we're repairing, and we're working on becoming people. There was a secular journalist once had the opportunity to go meet Reb Shlomo Freifeld. Came to Reb Shlomo Freifeld to meet him in the sukkah, and he knew that Reb Shlomo was a very intelligent person and a very eloquent person, and he was excited to meet him. And when he came in, he saw pictures on the wall. There was a picture of the Chavetz Chaim, there's a picture of the Iriamis, a picture of different tzaddikim and gedalim on the wall, European gedalim. And he asked Reb Shlomo, who are these people on the wall? Whose images am I looking at? Reb Shlomo says, oh, that's a species that flourished prior to World War II. They were called people. That means the Tzuras Adam, the mensch of the Talmud Chacham, that our Zaydis knew, the refinement and the nobility inherent in every single person of Gedei Yisrael. But it's still within reach. It was within reach of World War II, before World War II, and within reach now. Torah refines, Torah elevates a person. They once sent people from the army. They had this division of Hasbara. They were trying to, like an intelligence unit, was trying to understand the different demographics of Israeli society. So they came to meet with Reb Shach. They came to Fanovich, and they spent the morning walking through the base measures. Then they took him in to meet Reb Shach, Rosh Yeshiva. And he asked them what their findings were. Were they impressed with what they saw? They said, yeah, the young men in this in your school, in your academy, are really very impressive. The way they carry themselves, the way they dress, the way they learn. And they said that even the Chavrusa system was astounding to them. They said each one is invested in his friend's success. The whole thing is very admirable. So he asked for a chumash. He read him a pasuk. Ki yetzer leiv ha'adam ra mina'u. Of the heart of a person, the yetzer of a person is bad. A person has yetzer hara. He says, my boys are exactly the same as all the boys on the street corners across this country. And anything you see, or any kind of behavior that you see in the colleges, which isn't moral, my boys are built the exact same. They're not made up any different. They're composed of the exact same substance. He says, but Torah refines a person. They have Torah. So they take the inborn traits, which are not that good, and they're able to elevate it and refine it to a place that they're able to look like this. That's what Torah does. And they understood what he was trying to say. We're not born differently. We're born the same as everybody else, as any other Yid. But Torah is able to... So sometimes people look at Yeshiva Bachar and they say, oh, they're so noisy, they're so disrespectful, they make a Chal Hashem. Why are they there? It's a process. It's a process. From Pesach to Shavuos is a process. It's the 7 spheres. But it starts at Pesach with barley, and a little bit of Torah takes the person all the way to Shavuos to Chita. That's the lesson of this week's parsha, and that's really the lesson of these weeks.